This could be the best market for buyers to buy in that we've seen since rates started going up. Welcome to your 2020 market recap for Metro Atlanta. You will not believe what is happening in the market, or maybe some of you will believe, but today I'm going to share with you some positives and some weaknesses, and more importantly, how to interpret these if you are a buyer or you are a seller or you know someone that is going to be buying and selling. So first, I want to start with the positives. One of the positives is that sales are down, which doesn't sound like a positive, but it really is, and let me explain why. We still have a record low number of sales. We have not had this few of sales in Metro Atlanta in a Q2 since 2011. And even though Q2 sales were only down about 1.1% versus same time last year, I think that we actually are going to wind up seeing that they are flat compared to year over year once the final numbers get recorded. However, we're still almost 41% below the number of sales that we had in Q2 of 2019. So sales are down, and the reason they're down is because home affordability is so high. Rates continue to be high. Inflation continues to, although it's getting in line, people still feel like that housing affordability is just beyond their reach, or they're not motivated enough to make a change into a higher interest rate. Another positive that we're seeing though, which is kind of ironic, is that prices are continuing to still go up. And this is because there's such little inventory to pick from, although there is a little bit more than what we did have. Prices are up in Metro Atlanta about 6% from Q2 of last year. And in other parts of Metro Atlanta, they're up even more. In Alpharetta, for example, prices are up 11%. In Roswell, prices are up 12%. East Cobb and Cumming are about the same with a 9% increase. Johns Creek had the least amount of increase this quarter, and that was at 5%. But overall, we are still going up when we look at quarter over quarter. So that is a good thing if you're a seller, but that is starting to pull back as well. So now let's talk about weaknesses that I'm seeing in the market. The biggest weakness that I'm seeing is that it is taking longer to sell a home right now. And this is because there are fewer buyers in the market. And that is because interest rates in the April-May timeframe went up to 7.5%. That right there caused buyers who absolutely just did not have a need to move to begin to pull back and get themselves out of the market. And we felt it. Listings all of a sudden stayed on the market longer, more price reductions happened, and fewer homes began to sell. 1 in 3 listings failed to sell in Q2, okay? So 33% of our listings did not successfully close. That's a big number. Also, 52% of properties that did close had to reduce their price in order to do that. Also a large number. So to summarize, we are still in a seller's market. So when you take the inventory that we have, compare it to the rate of homes that are selling, we're sitting at about 2.5 months of inventory, meaning that if no other homes came on the market, we would sell out of our inventory in about 2.5 months. However, that is different. That's up almost half from what it was last year. Last year, we were at about 1.7%. So we do have more inventory and we do have more month supply on the market right now. So if you're a seller, what does this mean for you? You have a huge risk of overpricing in this market. This is not the market to try a higher price, because what is likely going to result in, if you're 1 in 2 sellers, you're going to have to reduce your price in order to get a contract. And what that means is your home is going to be on the market 3 times as long as it would have been if you would have gotten the price right to begin with. So don't try overpricing your home. The second piece of advice I'll give you if you're a seller is presentation matters hugely right now. The penalty for not making sure that your home appeals to the masses is greater now than I've seen it in quite some time. So if your carpet is stained or if it's been clawed up by the cat, replace the carpet. Paint the high traffic areas in your home and anything else that's showing some wear, whether it's the trim, whether it's the ceiling paint, whether it's the wall paint, get it painted. I am seeing buyers say no to houses right now because of something as simple as paint. So if you can do it, go ahead and get it done, because I promise you, 1 or 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to do it and your house is going to sell faster and for more money, or you're not going to do it and expect to give an allowance to a buyer, or expect them to handle it on their own. And you're either not going to get a buyer, or you're going to have to reduce your price more than the paint would have cost you to begin with. So what does this mean if you're a buyer? If you're a buyer, get in the market now. And the reason why I'm saying that, I know it sounds crazy. Rates are back below 7% again, but I know they're still high, and we are expecting a rate cut to happen, hopefully in the fall. But instead of waiting until everybody else is waiting to get in the market, if you get in the market right now, you have more inventory to pick from than you've had in quite some time, and you've got sellers who are finally negotiating off of their prices. This is your time to lock in a good deal with the seller who's freaking out a little bit and wondering, is my home going to sell? Oh my goodness, what's happening right now? That's a great time to take advantage of if you're a buyer. Also, the reason why this is such a good time for buyers is because you have less buyer competition than you have had in many years. We are seeing 23 to 40% fewer buyers come through our listings right now, which means that we're seeing fewer offers, which means that if you're a buyer who's brave enough to get out there when other people aren't buying, you're gonna get a better deal on your home and you're gonna have less competition. If you wait for rates to come down, I want you to really think about what's going to happen. You have a huge amount of people that are on the sidelines right now that are waiting for interest rates to come down. And when rates do come down to whatever that number is going to be that's going to trigger people to get out, it's probably when the media is going to start talking positively about rates. I can promise you that you're going to be putting yourself in a position where you're going to be competing against up to twice as many buyers as you would be right now, and there will not be enough inventory to keep up with the demand, which is going to cause prices to rise faster. There will be more offers, which means that homes are probably going to be selling again for more than 100% of asking price. Get in the market now, although logic might tell you to do otherwise. If you think smartly about it, you will probably agree with me. That's it for Q2. We'll see what happens in Q3. People are asking me about the election year. What changes am I seeing about that? I rarely see any changes in the real estate market during election years, but I think that we might see a little bit of one this year because A, the election is so polarizing, but B, we are still dealing with the effects of inflation and high interest rates. So if you have specific questions about what's happening in your neighborhood or your area of Metro Atlanta, please message me. Digging through data and interpreting it for you guys is one of my very favorite things to do, and I would love nothing less than put together a personalized report for you. Send this to someone who is thinking of buying or selling. This could educate them as well, and we will see what happens in Q3.